So this is the first competency in your taping and wrapping section, TW01, and this is tape type identification. So we're going to go through the basic tape types that we use in the athletic training room. Over here, we have the regular standard white tape. We have pre-wrap, what's called Tear-Lite, cohesive, elasticon, and then some specialty tapes we'll get into. So first over here with the white tape, this is the standard tape we're going to use for pretty much most athletic injuries, and most tapings will be using a lot of this. It comes in several different sizes. We have right here a 1/2 inch for mostly for fingers, a 1 inch we can use for thumbs and for the arch taping, a lot of other smaller sides where you can't really fit this other tape. And then we have what's called the 1.5 inch white. This is like your gold standard ankle tape. For the most part, most taping you do, wrist, ankle, whatever it may be, will be done with 1.5 inch white tape. And there are many different brands and varieties, but 1.5 inch is typically the standard size. Next up, we have the pre-wrap. Underneath the tape, we typically use pre-wrap, especially for areas like the ankle or around the knee or things like that. It helps give the tape something to grab onto, but it also helps protect the skin. So patients who are more sensitive or don't want to pull the hair out or anything like that, we use this to protect it. It's not necessary, and sometimes it can actually make the tape less effective. But for ankle taping, we will definitely be using pre-wrap just to cover the ankle and protect the patient's skin from pulling the hair out. Here again, like I said, this is called Tear-Lite. Tear-Lite is an adhesive and a stretchy tape. So it's a stretchy tape that you can pull out, and it's really good for covering wounds, really good for performing a base layer on areas that this rigid tape wouldn't be able to cover, or it wouldn't be able to fold with the skin. This can kind of move and stretch with the skin. It's also adhesive, so it sticks to everything. It comes in both a 2 inch and a 3 inch variety. Here we have is what's called cohesive. So cohesive is very similar to this. It's also a stretchy tape, but cohesive means that it sticks to itself and not anything else, right? So cohesive does not stick to skin at all. It doesn't stick to anything. So this is very good for wound coverage, especially when you don't want the tape to pull at a wound. So the tape here is called cohesive. Again, we can also, it comes in several varieties. We mainly use only 2 inch. Here we have what's called elasticon. Now elasticon is more of a rigid tape or a strapping tape that we use for different injuries, like for tapings like the Achilles or an AC joint sprain or patellar strapping. We use this when we need a little more rigidity in the tape, but it is elastic too. And the interesting thing, it comes in several varieties. 1 inch is what I prefer for thumbs because it allows for motion of the thumb while still being secure. The 2 inch and 3 inch variety you see here have this nice red line down the middle. Now the reason for that is we can cut along that red line, and it allows us to split the roll. So it becomes very, very useful when we use this for the knee and for the Achilles. It allows us to split the roll down that red line. Everything up until now, you can tear with your own hands. These last ones over here, for the most part, you typically will need scissors. So you need scissors to cut elasticon. It's very hard to tear with your hands. It's just a cleaner cut to cut through. That leads us to our last bit, which is our our specialty tapes. Now there are many different types of specialty tapes, but we're going to look at 2 right now. This first one is called Leuco tape. It's a rigid strapping tape. Now it's very similar. It's the exact same size. It's 1.5 inch size, but it's a stronger adhesive. And it's also not as flexible as this. It lasts longer, and we use it for in cases that we need more support, like an arch tape we'll see, an AC joint sprain tape. This can really provide a lot more strapping force because of its rigidity. It's also more expensive. While this roll is roughly around $2 a roll, this full roll, this is partially used, but with this full roll, it costs about $11 or $12. So you use less of it. You wouldn't use this full roll to make an ankle tape. That's just too much for one thing. We would use it for smaller applications that we can use it. And then we have kinesio tape, and we're going to get into kinesio tape later on in this section. But kinesio tape is a stretchy tape that it has a lot of proposed properties, and we'll get into all of those later. But it comes in different colors that really don't make any difference, and we're going to talk all about that in a further video. So again, white strapping tape, pre-wrap. Tear-Lite that is adhesive on one side, right? Cohesive, which is also a stretchy tape, but it's not. It only sticks to itself. Elasticon, and then our specialty tapes, Leuco tape and kinesio tape.